and we know what it is. And I've got 3 different studies with 3 different methodologies corroborating it. So that's legit. And get this. You guys remember my pandemic math video? If not, go to the main Instagram page here and watch it. And there I tell you how with H1N1, we were looking at a 1.3% fatality rate. The world lost its shit. And 2 years later, when we were able to measure the magic number, and I tell you what that is in that video, turns out, it wasn't 1.3%, it was really 0.02% fatality rate, a 65x reduction. So guess what? 2 new studies came out trying to find the magic number. They're both wrong because they're early stage. We haven't measured enough people to see who actually got infected but never really went to the hospital or anything. Never got tested. One in the northern part of California where I used to be and the southern part of California. And guess what? Between 40 and 80x reduction in the death rate. It's predicted 65x. That puts us down to 0.2% death rate. So maybe we can lift the restrictions sooner than we thought, because it turns out, yes, people are getting sick from this, but the death rate is about twice what we were thinking flu might do. And we can take everyone who's at risk and we can make them in 20 days or less, we can make them highly resistant, resilient to COVID. So we can do this. Of course, if you're bulletproof, you're probably already most of the way there. I'm going to list everything you can do.
Sauna is so warm.
Emily, what do I think of Georgia starting to reopen? I think that we should start to reopen. And I think that the way to do it, though, is to say, you know what? We're going to take a tiny, invisible, almost magic fraction of that 2.2 trillion and counting that we spent. And we're just going to buy some damn vitamin C for everybody. Like, how hard would that be? Oh, and I said, damn.
Oh, no. We have to end this thing now.
But it's because when you put a dam in a river of vitamin C, it builds up.
Yeah, right.
See?
It builds up, and then it crystallizes.
So, I mean, you need more than vitamin C, but we know how to build resilience to this. So it's just time. Jamie Ann says, what are my thoughts on the infrared blankets? It turns out that TrueDark, which is a company that I started, I've written patents for the sleep glasses that we make. We make an infrared blanket that's really cool. What it does, the TrueDark blanket, actually we might call it the True Light blanket. Anyway, it gets the heat from your body and it changes the frequency of the heat and bounces it back to you. And we use basically some nanotech that doesn't wash out and cause problems in the water, but basically some carbon nanofibers that are there. It's a bamboo-based blanket. It's really cool, and it totally works. You feel different. It takes your reflected body heat instead of like a quilt or normal blanket, and it puts it deeper into the tissues. That's cool.
It changes it from, I remember we were talking about this yesterday. What were the infrareds? From infrared to, I think it was long infrared.
It goes from regular infrared to far infrared.
Oh, far infrared, not long infrared.
Ooh, Jeff Sherrill says, best sleep device and app. Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, let's see. This one. See, I'm using the proper finger for you. This is the Oura, O-U-R-A. And I really like Sonic Sleep, which is something that has some stuff to improve dreaming and deep sleep. And I've actually had Dan Gartenberg, the sleep scientist behind that, on the show. Big Paul from Metal. Hey, Big Paul, I love metal. Metal, in addition to being a style of music, is a group in LA I've been a part of for years, run by my friend Ken Rutkowski. All right, Alan, what do you think about collagen peptide injections?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I injected you with something. You never told me.
That's right. Alan actually has been doing my peptide injections for me. So here's the deal, holistic knowledge. You can inject GHK, which is collagen tripeptide, and it does work. In fact, it's something that's found in the blood of young people. It's one of the reasons that young plasma might work. So I have certainly done that.
It's also why Daddy has me.
All right. Leigh, what's my favorite whole house water filter? Do you know much about water filtration? Ozone or UV, but if you wanted to economize, there's 2 filters you need that'll last for a long time unless you're in a really shitty place. I said bad words. One of them is a whole house ceramic filter that'll block viral particles and everything else. The other is an activated charcoal or activated carbon filter. You're going to spend about $150 to get this filter canister for the big ones. And then you can put them in yourself or you can have someone put them in. But once they're in, you might have to change them once a quarter or even once a month, depending on the quality of your local water. All right. Morning. What types of collagen do I recommend? You've tried all the Bulletproofs, which you love. other than the new flavors? This is from
What-
Leigh. Do you have a favorite?
For my favorite, well, it depends what I'm doing. You can make a bulletproof smoothie. I don't think there's actually an official recipe, but you can make a really good blueberry smoothie, and I use the vanilla collagen in there.
There you go. We've got some new collagen boosts that are really good. They have functional ingredients in them as well. The gut boost is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And they actually taste good.
Although in my pie, like if you're gonna mix it into something, I think the unflavored one's probably better if the thing you're mixing it into actually has a flavor.
All right. When do I think the finger stick blood test will be available or approved from the FDA? From Neighborhood Lines. Here's the deal. I have talked to multiple heads of companies who are fully ready to do this testing. We've had the ability to do coronavirus testing forever. It's been a regulatory delay. Same thing. Oh, yeah, there's all sorts of doctors who'd like to do things that are likely to help and unlikely to cause harm, but it's not approved because we don't know what works. So we do nothing, which we know doesn't work. So, like, it's just bad logic. So free the doctors, let them do their jobs, and they can just have a little checkbox for the patients that says, hey, this isn't approved yet, but I think it might work, and it's probably not going to hurt you. And since you feel like crap and you might, get really sick from this, let's do this. And we can do the same thing with that is, by the way, not okay. Vitamins, should you stop from time to time? Ooh, what do you think, Ellen?
I don't know. I think that taking vitamins is nice.
It is nice, and there is an argument for stopping your antioxidants, especially on days you work out. So yeah, pulsing them, good idea. Those inflammatory amino acids you limit when you're doing the type of anti-aging diet in Superhuman. But I would say short-term use for making your lungs work well, it's a good deal. So I would pulse my NAC. Take it with vitamin C. All right, Maria's drinking Bulletproof coffee.
I like the little coffee emoji.
Small Pa 100. Probably Philadelphia, PA, Pennsylvania. Any advice on getting angel investors on board to start up? You got to cultivate relationships with them. And you got to know what kind of angel investor. There's angel investors that are sort of like mini VCs who are going to want tons of diligence. Keiretsu Forum, and there's all kinds of groups like that. They tend to be a little bit more sticky, and if depending on how much money you need from an angel investor, you can actually. You guys are back. All right. I ran cold water over my phone because it overheats in the sauna. So we fixed it. Okay. It feels like our faces are closer in. I wonder if we have like a bubble of water over the camera. All right.
Here, do you want me to try and wipe it?
Sure.
Hi.
There we go. Okay. Hydrogen. Let's see. Nebulized hydrogen peroxide and colloidal silver. I just interviewed Frank Schallenberger, who's the father of ozone therapy and the guy who invented nebulized hydrogen peroxide. And that podcast is probably either going to be up either today or on Thursday. Like, it's coming up right now. But we talk in detail about how to make your own hydrogen peroxide for nebulizing and how he's basically fixed every virus in his patients with it. So it's really something I would be considering. All right. My son is cute and smart. Thank you, Donna. Are you cute and smart, Alan?
I didn't know about cute, but probably smart.
Cute it's a compliment. Frontline worker about to head out to work here in Victoria from Drumshroom. Hey, thank you. We need people actually doing work right now. I would love to do that. In fact, I'm about to arrange a donation of masks to local workers here. I've been working for the last 2 weeks to get some via the supply chains available to CEOs of companies who are all working together to be able to make some donations here. So the Vancouver and Victoria area, much of YPO, Young Presidents Organizations, we got together to figure out how to do that. Okay. Number of people listening is dropping. So it could be because it's 8:05, they're all going back to work, or the sound quality could have water in the speaker. If you guys can't hear me, tell me. All right.
Probably scroll down to the bottom of the comments then, because whoa, that's a lot of extra.
Holy crapola. There we go.
Now, no.
Wow, stop it. There we go. Okay, here we go.
Now you could tell us.
Some frozen grass-fed beef needs a thaw for dinner, perhaps. Use it to cool the phone. That's a good idea, Regeneration IT. We have frozen grass-fed beef. We just got half a cow from our neighbor, whose cows used to eat our grass before we started feeding our grass to our lambs. We had pork hocks last night. It was so good. Human biohacker, does soaking nuts reduce anti-nutrients? Yes, it does, as long as you don't allow them to mold, which is a problem. Wow. Eric Nabors used nebulized CBD for horses. Man, there's a use for nebulized CBD. I will tell you guys, be careful with nebulizing oils and breathing them. You might not like what happens every time there. That requires some good research. Alfredo has issues with low potassium and low vitamin D. What do you recommend? You probably need to take your vitamin D twice a day. You could do a genetic test to look at your vitamin D receptors. And you can take potassium. Potassium bicarbonate is really interesting. You can take it just as a powder in water, which can be beneficial. And also, there's interactions between magnesium and potassium. You might need to increase your magnesium to get your potassium in, and vice versa. All right, it's choppy, bad reception. Those are old comments. You can hear me now. So I'm as plugged in as I can get. My Wi-Fi's on, which is, I'm going to turn it off as soon as we're done. Connection that we're dropping, pause constantly, choppy. Darn it.
I wonder if the phone's overheating.
It might have been because the phone's overheating. Well, lungs fill up with oil from TJ. They can. There are some things that are safe to nebulize, but you just have to be really careful because, man, you know, as bad as smoking is oxidized oils. Like if you breathe frying pan oil, that's going to cause lung inflammation you don't want to do. Even bacon if you cook it. Oh, Pamela, what do I think about echinacea for teens? Is it safe to daily for now? I've never seen anything that says teens shouldn't be doing it. I'm a huge fan of echinacea plus andrographis. Andrographis has great evidence, as does echinacea, but andrographis is even better for stopping IL-6. It is my first line. I don't want to get a virus from any form. Do I take glutathione every day? No, I stop it a couple days a week from Cassandra. I take the Bulletproof glutathione force. How am I such a smooth talker? You saw the interviews. My answers are amazing, spontaneous, and witty. Oh, thank you, Deli. I gotta mention two things. One, I used to have incredible stage fright in my early 20s, and I realized I had no skills at all. So I started teaching eventually at the University of California for 5 years. I led the web and internet engineering program. So 4 days a week, 3 hours a night in front of between 30 and 50 people until I just lost the fear and I actually gained the skill. And then I did the 40 years as a neurofeedback enough times that I don't consciously pause and I'm able to think about what I'm going to say and say it and think about what you want to hear at the same time. It was actually a lot of work. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. Look at that. Brad Money, third-year medical student in Florida. Love your work. Keep up the good work. Hey, Brad, thank you for watching this stuff. We need a whole new generation of doctors who are functional, holistic, not afraid of drugs, not afraid of stepping in and taking control of the immune system, but willing to look at the system of the body and how we interact with our environment. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Side effects to excessive vitamin D from Rick? Yes, there are. Excess calcification throughout the body if you don't balance it with vitamin K2 especially. Theta, please make a video on what to feed babies and our kids, please. All right. We have a vitamins I give the kids video. You should feed the kids the Bulletproof diet. And what to feed babies? The Better Baby book is the first book I wrote. It was about fertility.
Probably post a list of the vitamins we take.
We could post a list of I post the ones you take. I don't want to post a list of what I take. By the way, this is going to piss you guys off. People have been asking for years, what do you take? What do you take? I want to do what you do. Guys, I'm 6'4". I have a history of autoimmunity. I used to weigh 300 pounds. I'm 10.3% body fat right now. I'm running experimental protocols, and I know my genetics. I've done my testing from the DNA company. By the way, if you haven't done that one, the functional genomics is amazing. I've done my Viome test. If you try to do what I do, and you are not a middle-aged, white, European dude, your sister take. Remember the picture of your sister like making a little vitamin?
Oh yeah, under Did You Tell all the ones.
Caroline, do you think ozone machine, or do I use an ozone machine to make ozonated oil? Does it work on brain octane? Yes, it does work on brain octane. However, it takes like 3 weeks to make ozonated olive oil with a typical medical machine. It's not worth the trouble. You should just buy, you can buy ozonated almost any oil today. It's just not worth the amount of oxygen it would take unless you have an oxygen concentrator. Even then, like, you're running it for long periods of time. So. So Pockets Full of Stars says, I don't have COVID, but I'm having trouble breathing for a month. I'm on steroids, inhalers with no history of asthma. What should you do? You should test your house for toxic mold. Like, that's such a common thing. There's a new test kit from Homebiotic, one of my companies, that let you Be thednacompany.com is my favorite.